Okay, let me call this meeting to order. And based on comments before, we'll try to particularly concentrate on speaking into the microphone so y'all can hear me, okay? Okay, this Wednesday meeting of the City of Diamond Head City Council is called to order. And if you would stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, so we need to have a roll call, and so Juliana is present, and Melanie is present, and Patty is present, which gives us a quorum, so that's good. The next thing on the agenda is approving the minutes from the March meeting. I think everybody's had copies of that, had a chance to look at it. Does anybody have any questions on it? If I had a motion for accepting the approving the minutes.
I move that we approve the minutes.
Okay, Melanie made the motion.
Second.
Yeah.
Okay, Juliana seconded. Okay, all those in favor of approving the minutes, raise your right hand. Thank you, it's unanimous. Okay, we have, next thing on the agenda is ceremonies, recognitions, and all. And one of the things that I do want to do there now, and it'll be for, planning later, but is to pass a resolution. And what I would like to do, let me just go ahead and talk about, I guess, a little bit. We talked about before the fact that the way the state laws were and requiring input from the U.S. Census Bureau, we were not going to get funds until the end of this calendar year. And we've been waiting months already. And so, of course, I talked to a number of different officials and individuals trying to see if there was anything that could get done. And our state representative and state senator introduced a bill in this last legislature to change how the populations are determined so that we didn't have to wait on the Census Bureau. We could use the state geographical information system. And they got that passed, which amazed me that you could do something that fast. And the governor signed it on the 14th, which was just a few days ago. So, and it was also made as an emergency, which means it went into effect immediately. So, and also, we had a lot of help. We were talking to the head of the geographical information system. We were working with the municipal league. I talked to the head of the municipal league. They were working with the legislature to help push this as well. But it was our local representatives that really made it happen. So we want to really express appreciation of them, so I'd like us to pass a resolution that we can present to them sometime if they will have a chance to come, or at least we'll provide it to them. And it reads, a resolution expressing appreciation to our elected state officials, Womack and Clark. It says, whereas the City of Diamond Head was incorporated on March 1st, 2024, and whereas city officials were elected in the November 2024 general election and began setting up the city, and whereas the combination of Arkansas law and the U.S. Census Bureau schedule meant no state funds would be available to the City of Diamond Head for a year, and whereas Arkansas State Representative Richard Womack and Arkansas State Senator Alan Clark recognized the need to change the law on how Arkansas defines the official population of new municipalities, and whereas Representative Womack and Senator Clark co-sponsored House Bill 1522 and ensured it passed the Arkansas House and Senate, and whereas this resulted in the City of Diamond Head obtaining funding many months earlier, allowing services to begin for residents. Now be resolved by the City Council of the City of Diamond Head, Arkansas, that the City of Diamond Head expresses its appreciation to Arkansas State Representative Richard Womack and Arkansas State Senator Alan Clark for their dedication and focused efforts to support our city in future new cities in the state of Arkansas. Passed and approved by the City Council of Diamond Head, Arkansas on this date. If we could have a motion to approve this resolution.
Motion to approve the resolution.
Okay, made by Patty and seconded by Melanie. All those in favor, raise your hand. Unanimous, so very good, thank you. So I'll try to get with them and let them know and see if they might come and let us actually thank them face to face, but we want to provide that to them. Since then, we've been in contact with the GIS office, and they immediately provided our population to the State Treasurer's office, which is 961, and that's just the Garland County side, of course. And we've also been working with the State Treasurer's office. We had to provide the IRS letter with our tax number to them, and they sent some forms which to John, and he brought those filled out today for us to sign, and so he'll get those back to him tomorrow. And so the first, they're trying to get it in a place where we'll make a payout that comes out next week. So, excuse me, a lot sooner than next January. So we're very appreciative. Okay. And there are different ones. There's two general fund, or a general fund that comes back to the cities for their operation or whatever things they try to need to get done. Then there's a separate street fund that is just for street applications. So we'll have that. But there's also, because of the county sales taxes and use taxes that are collected in the county, there's a portion of that goes back to the cities as well. And that's probably not very large, but that's the one that comes out next week. So we'll begin to see. And of course, once we really know what our amounts coming in are, then we can generate a better budget of what we can get done and how to proceed.
One comment too.
Yep.
There are other accounts that we will probably have to set up when we do start to receive grants from the state. There's some specific ones according to law that we have to identify and maintain separately as we utilize them. So this is all taking place now. We're getting the sled headed down the hill, hopefully. And we can all go for that ride. But it's one of those things that it's going to take some time, but we've made huge progress in the last few days as far as being able to say we've got something to work with now. So,
yeah.
Thank you, Ralph.
Thank you. Okay. Now we had a place here for public comments that we asked if those get input ahead of time. We did not get any, and so we won't have any to proceed with there. We have some, different committees doing some things. Only one I want to report on a little bit now is on the annexation. Benny Prince has been working that. She's been working with the Geographical Information System people on that too, because we have to be able to define the part we will annex, and by law, she's been looking through all that. There's all kinds of tick marks that they've got that you've got to, get done, and there's certain time frames for them. So she's working that. The bottom line is that with this population, we were hoping it would be closer to 1,000, because if you're 1,000, there's no restrictions on your annexation. But if you're under 1,000, state law requires that you can only annex at a time 1/10 of your area in acres. So that's not enough to take in all the Hot Springs County side. So we're going to be faced with having to do 2 annexations, which will take 2 years. I know. But that's just the way it is. And so she's working, now that we've understood that we've tried to look at other options and trying to push on it, but this is just, where we're going to be with state law. So she's working the details of that, has a committee that she's working with to define where that area would be that's adjacent to what's already part of the city, and to define that 1/10 of the area, and then the remainder of it will be done in a subsequent annexation meeting. Okay, so on the unfinished business, one of the things that we've, as you know, because we've talked about that we have two positions that are open, and so what happens when that occurs is the city council appoints members to that position. And so we've had people that have come forward, which we very much appreciate because, you know, this does take time and effort, and we like to see people stepping up to do that. So now would be the time that we would look at the city council moving to appoint those two positions then.
I move to appoint Leon Hess for position 3.
Okay.
Second.
Who's second? Patty second. Okay. All right, so the motion is to appoint Mr. Hess to position 3. All those in favor, raise your right hand. Very good, passed unanimously. Okay. Another motion?
I'd like to move that we appoint David Talbert to position 4. No, 4.
I know, that's what I wrote down wrong.
Okay.
That's
It's
me.
4.
A second?
Okay, moved by Patty and seconded by Melanie. So all those in favor of Mr. Talbert being appointed to position 4, raise your hand. Okay, unanimous. And I have the paper to swear them in. And we're going to do a little business first because there's a couple things we've been doing they have not been involved with, so we'll take those votes first and then it would be fair to put them on that, in that position. So, okay, so the next one is we've been looking at logos for the city. You know, we need to be able to have something that represents the city to put on our website, put on letterheads, something that people see and recognize and it looks appealing. And it kind of speaks for the city. We've been lucky enough to have Monica look at some different options and gave us some different options to look at before. City Council looked at those and looked at things they wanted to kind of combine and kind of narrow it down. And then we gave it back to her, and she's come back with 2 very nice candidates for city logo, and so the city council members have been looking at that. So if y'all are ready, I would look forward to a motion to accept one of those as our new logo.
I move to accept the first, number 1, as our new logo.
A second.
Okay. Motion by Melanie and seconded by Juliana. Is any other discussion? Okay, all those in favor of the number 1 option for our new logo, raise your right hand. And it's unanimous, so thank you very much.
Do you want to show them?
Mm-hmm.
Which one's going? Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like it.
Sure.
I like it.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah. I like how the city of Diamond Head fills the white space.
Yeah.
And it just seems like it's all compact together. I like that.
Hope I know it's still enough.
There wasn't much difference
was
from
the
that
other
one,
one.
yeah.
Yeah, not much different.
For some of you that haven't been here before, I think you all have, but I don't get to vote, so I'm not just ignoring them.
You abstain.
Yeah. He thought he did it first, but we learned that no,
Yeah.
the board of treasurer does not get to vote, so.
But you got
Thank you,
to.
Monica.
You got the
Yes, thank you very
experience.
much, because, you know, that's a lot of work and taking some of the inputs and going back and working it, but I think the end product is just right on, so, thank you. Okay, now, another thing that we have talked about, and last time, we don't really have anything new, but everybody's just gonna kind of think about it some, I guess, but we have, you know, had Mr. Gary, Morganson looking at, what systems that we would want to make use of for our file, electronic storage, keep our documents and stuff. And the 2 options were really the Google Workspace and Microsoft 365. They really do very similar things. People have had experience with both of them, and so it just really comes down to picking one that we want to go ahead and go with. The cost is basically the same, and one has a little more memory, but if you've got another one that you like to use better, then that's probably, would be the driver. So I would entertain a motion aimed at selecting one of the options for the city to go with.
Well, I'm going to make a motion to use Microsoft Office 365 as our operating system.
Okay, and so I should wait on a second though, if there is one.
I'll second.
Okay, a second has been made. So the motion is to accept Microsoft 365. Now I would say the way I see this is that since that's a motion to accept that one, if it fails, then we would need a motion to accept the other. So it just depends on your pleasure then, and which one you want to go with. Right now, the vote would be for Microsoft 365. Any other discussion? Okay, all those in favor of Microsoft 365, raise your right hand. Okay.
Fine. No.
Do you
It's
not want to, okay, do you not want to do that? You
well,
wanna
I
go
mean,
Google?
it's okay for us not to be unanimous.
Yeah,
All right. It is.
I just gotta write down more.
We're individual beings, yeah.
I mean, I can do both. It's fine. It's fine. Yeah, here.
Okay, we got it.
Okay, 365 then. Okay.
Thank you.
I'm a Google person.
Well, I knew you
But
said
I'll
that.
go with it.
Okay. Okay, so Microsoft 365. I think both will work fine. Okay, I already talked about the
I can be principal. That's fine.
where we are on the money.
We're gonna say
stuff.
like,
Okay, so it's time to swear in the new council members.
Are we going to do the ordinance? The other one?
Yeah, but I was going to do that
after the,
down where I put ordinances and resolutions.
Okay.
Next page.
So we'll go ahead and do this part. Okay. Mr. Hess, if you will come forward, please. I need my specs so I can read this, okay? You raise your right hand. I state your name.
I, Leon Hess,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Arkansas,
and the Constitution of the State of Arkansas,
and I will faithfully discharge the duties
and I will faithfully discharge the duties
of the office of council member for the city of Diamond Head,
of the office of council member for the city of Diamond Head,
upon which I am about to enter.
on which I'm about to enter.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Don't leave before you sign this, because we have to turn it in the county clerk's office.
and we'll get a copy back to you.
Okay, Mr. Talbert. David Talbert is our other appointee. Happy to have both you guys.
Thank you, thank you. Thanks, guys.
Raise your right hand. I state your name.
David Talbert,
Do solemnly swear
solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
and the Constitution of the State of Arkansas,
the Constitution of the State of Arkansas,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and will faithfully discharge the duties
of the office of council member for the city of Diamond Head,
of council member of the city of Diamond Head,
on which I am about to enter.
of which I'm about to enter.
Thank you.
So they're voting on the ordinances too. Well, they need to be up here to vote on the ordinances because
They
they're on the
will,
council.
yeah, well,
And actually, since y'all are sworn in, if you wanted to pull a chair up,
There's
I
already
put
one.
2 chairs, extra chairs.
did you? Okay.
I did.
somebody's organized.
Right there, and there's one over there.
The one closest to
There you go.
There you go.
And this is the first time we've had a full city council, so. All right. Okay, some reports that I just want to make so people are aware of.
They're right here.
One was just a report, you know, when I was away in Boston, we had those huge storms and all that torrential rain. And I was up there and got an early morning phone call from Chief Davy telling me that the road was washed out and was closed, and to get the word out to people. Well, some of you may recall that we had already passed a resolution that allowed the recorder treasurer to be authorized to act as mayor in my absence. So I called John and told him. So he interfaced with Chief Davy and got the word out. We also communicated with our city attorney, trying to understand any emergency actions that need to be taken. And John talked to him, and he also talked to the county judge, and understood that emergency declaration was made by Garland and Hot Springs County, and so that would have covered anything we need to do. So he kept up with things from Chief Davy. I also got some additional calls, so there was lots of things going back and forth, but I think our plan to take care of things when I wasn't here worked quite well, and we had all the right interfaces. And if there's anything, it looks like probably not, I don't know, but if anything comes out of any emergency declarations for that time that would support any damage people had, then we will be learning about that. But right now, I'm not sure it was enough to do that, but it was a pretty scary time for sure.
One comment. I would like to thank Chris Potts and my wife for putting out as much information as they could get a hold of on this thing. As we got more information, we tried to make it available to the public. Now granted, everybody doesn't have Facebook, everybody doesn't have this, but we covered as many of the avenues as we knew were available. So, and in the future, if anybody has any suggestions on that, I'd certainly like to hear them. So thank you.
All right, and thank you, John, for taking all that on.
There's still a pothole there.
Yes, I know, it's getting worse. Yeah, I know, I was thinking
They
about,
fixed it, but it's come back.
yeah,
It
yeah.
started coming
It's-
back.
I think it's just because it was a temporary repair, and so, well, yeah, probably have to talk to them about what they're gonna do to come back and make that more permanent.
You mean the bridge?
Yeah,
Well, that's a state responsibility there. So.
yeah, but, you know, we can let them know.
Yeah.
Because that does actually happen to be in the city limits, you know, the city limits comes down to almost the church here somewhere. I don't know exactly where it's at, but, okay. The other thing I want to talk about a little bit is, you know, we've been working the process for architectural review committee and ordinance and documents to define building permit and inspection program. And I really had thought we'd be able to get that in place by now, but we want to be sure that all the pieces are right. It's fairly involved, and so we've still got people that are professionals reviewing it. We have our attorney reviewing it, and have not gotten I've talked to him a couple times about it, but have not gotten the last input from him. So, really looking to be able to pass that the next time, though. But we're continuing to work that and get all the pieces together for that. Another thing is that, you know, as a government entity, we've talked about before, there's a process called FOIA, Freedom of Information Act. So since we're a public entity, anything we do is open to the public, and any meetings that we have and such. So we had a FOIA request already from a law firm, which we fulfilled. Then we've had a second request from them that we fulfilled this last week, and it was concerning communications between any of the officials and our city attorney. And so text and emails and stuff we gathered up and provided to them. So, and we may get these all the time. There's just, if anybody wants to know anything about what we're doing, it's open. So we'll just have to respond to those. Also, I want to mention, I met with the Garland County Sheriff. I wanted to just be sure to introduce myself to him and let him know that we are now a city in the county, and he was aware of that, but didn't know a lot else. So I was going through kind of how issues we're dealing with, how we're getting set up. But one of the things I wanted to explore was whether there was a possibility of us being able to contract for a deputy just for Diamond Head. And he stated that that had been tried before and is just difficult to coordinate and also costly, and he recommended against it, and personally he would not want to pursue that again. Everything that's something he looked at before. So that really leaves us with other options, fewer options at least. We can have our own policeman, or we can look if there's any other cities nearby that we could combine with. There's things we can look at, but we've not looked at them yet, but we will continue to look at what options we have there. So that's all I had. I didn't have anything else identified as new business. Any other council members have anything for new business? Okay, the rest of it there just identifies our schedules. Just our regular meeting right now, third Thursday of each month. And so with that, I would, I'm sorry. Oh, that's right, I did. I got by that, didn't I? Okay, we do have one ordinance to consider, and somehow I missed when I was looking at my agenda there. But and it's one of these things that we were trying to save money because we were passing as few ordinances as possible, because every time you pass one, you have to have it published in the paper, and that costs money, and that's just the law. So, the other ordinances, we've not done many of them yet because we weren't yet in a position to do that. And the ones we did were on an emergency basis, which means when you pass them, they become effective immediately. And but when we get into the case soon of passing ordinances, then there's something that the cities have to do. Right now, the law says that when you pass an ordinance, it becomes effective 90 days after that. But there's also placed in the law by the legislature that if a city passes an ordinance that says that it will occur as soon as, or no less than 30 days, but no more than 90 days, then you can define after 30 days when it takes effect in any ordinance you pass. So you don't have to wait so long. Some of these things we would want to take effect more quickly, but we wouldn't always want to make it an emergency ordinance. So this ordinance does that, and I have to read the ordinance. So it's ordinance 2025-004, an ordinance establishing the beginning date of an ordinance after passage for the city of Diamond Head, Arkansas. And whereas ACA, which defines a certain statute, 14-55-203, parentheses C, parentheses 1, parentheses B, states that in the event that the governing body of the city or town has an ordinance fixed the deadline for filing referendum petitions upon ordinances or other local measures not less than 30 days, not more than 90 days after passage of an ordinance or measure, then the effective date shall be the next day following the deadline fixed in the ordinance. And whereas the city of Diamond Head was established on March 1st, 2024, and now needs to have an ordinance beginning date established for state requirements, now be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Diamond Head, Arkansas, that Section 1, the City Council of the City of Diamond Head does hereby establish the beginning date of an ordinance shall be no less than 30 days, nor more than 90 days after passage of an ordinance or measure. Then the effective date shall be the next day following the deadline fixed in the ordinance. Section 2 is the emergency clause, which says the council finds that there is an immediate need for this ordinance to be in place. Any future ordinance that is presented needs to have a beginning date in the document. Passed and approved by the City Council of Diamond Head, Arkansas on this date of April 17, 2025. Signed by the mayor and the treasurer recorder. So, if we could have a motion to accept that ordinance, and then we can have any questions.
I move to accept the ordinance.
A second?
Okay, moved by Melanie and seconded by Patty. Okay, so is there any questions or comments? And once this is passed, it's good for however long the city is. So, and most cities have passed this decades ago. Okay, if no other discussion, I call for a vote. All those in favor of adopting the ordinance, raise your right hand. Okay, unanimous? Okay, very good. Now, there's another vote, because since it's an emergency, we have to vote positively on the emergency clause. So, all those in favor of approving the emergency clause, raise your right hand. Okay, again, unanimous. So, it is passed, so we'll get that signed, and John will do his magic about getting it published and, and all that. So, okay. Anything else I've forgotten? Any other business? Okay, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Move to approve adjournment?
Second.
Okay, Patty moved and Julianne seconded. So all those in favor of adjourning, raise your right hand. All right, passed. This meeting is adjourned.
Congratulations.
Hey, thank you.
I'm going to get Marcus.
Yes.
Email it to you so you can download it.
Okay.
She'll send it to you. Yeah, she'll send it to me in a usable.
Yeah. Sounds great. Thank you.